Hello everyone, it's Robin the Delta Crafter, and I want to thank you for joining me for another video on my YouTube channel. Before we get started with the video, I do want to pause and take a moment to thank each and every one of you for being patient with me during my absence. If you don't follow me on Instagram, you may not be aware, but my mother passed away during the Thanksgiving holiday break. And so I've taken some time to process and to manage all of my emotions, and I'm just now getting back to creating videos and posting them on my YouTube channel. I ask that you continue to pray for my family and I as we continue on this journey and learn to live a new normal. Crafting has definitely helped me with this process. So again, I thank you all for your patience, and I'm glad to be back here sharing another video with you as this is one of my places to release, and one of my safe spaces. So let's go ahead and talk about the card that we're going to be making today. I have a shop on Etsy and called the Delta Crafter, and one of the things that I offer is this digital download of a color combos ink blending recipes by the season. So I decided to use one of those color combos to this card. I'll make sure I have a link to my Etsy shop down below so you can go and grab this this document that also has an included video that it's exclusive for those that purchase the guide. So the color combo that we're going to be using today includes Villainous Potion, Holtz Ocean, Wild Honey, Carved Pumpkin, and Picked Raspberry. As usual, if you've been following me for any time, you know that my favorite cardstock to ink blend on is Nina Classic Crest Solar White in the 80-pound weight. So that's what I'm going to be using today for this color, to do this ink blending. So I'm going to get all my supplies set up. I'm going to use my ink stand to hold my inks as I work through my inks and for ink blending. There it is. I'm bringing in that ink stand, and I'm going to start off with the Picked Raspberry. So for each color, I'm going to lay down a good amount of ink. I'm using the Distress inks, which are my favorite inks to ink blend with. I do have oxides as well as some other inks like Pink Fresh Studio, and I still have some Stampin' Up inks as well. But Distress inks, regular Distress inks, are my favorite inks to ink blend with. I just love the vibrancy that I'm able to get with the regular Distress inks. So I moved from the Picked Raspberry over to the Carved Pumpkin, and I'm going to blend those two together to get a good seamless blend between them. Now I'm into the Wild Honey, which is a beautiful dark yellow color, and I just absolutely love that color. So when I did lay down the Salty Ocean, you know that when you put yellow next to each other, what happens? You create green. So when we go back down my ink blending, which I always do, I'm moved on to Villainous Ocean here. When I move back to blend in between that yellow, the Wild Honey and the Salty Ocean, you'll see like right there, the green starts to appear just a little bit. That's a happy accident that we're just going to work with. And just like I said, I move back down my ink blending colors to make sure that I have a good blend. And I'm satisfied with where everything is. Keep in mind when you ink blend, your colors are going to dry back a little bit, and then they're going to settle. And they're going to, once they settle and blend into or soak into the cardstock a little bit more, everything is going to just balance out and look lovely. So I wanted to add some sparkle to this card. I've been into sparkle and glitz lately. I think it's the holiday season. But I'm going to bring in this Snowflake pattern stencil from Hero Arts. And I'm going to combine that stencil with some glitter hero paste. I'll have all of the products that I'm using today listed and linked below, as well as on my coordinating blog post on my website. That way you'll be able to easily find the products that you're looking for. I'm going to use some mint tape to hold my stencil in place on my inked up background. if you think about it, that inked up background is still a little wet. It hasn't had a whole lot of time to dry. So having some tape to hold everything together really helped me be able to get the effect with this glitter hero paste that I'm going for. So now that my stencil is secured to my inked up panel, I'm going to bring in that glitter paste and a palette knife. Keep in mind that hero paste comes in several different formulations now. Comes in a white, a gold, which is also beautiful. But today we're going to be using the glitter paste. So here's a tip for you for any paste or liquid or wet medium that you have. If you take a piece of press and seal, once you've opened your paste, if you take a piece of press and seal and add that into your, once you finish using it, place that press and seal over the top of your paste, it will be able to stay usable for a whole lot longer. So you'll see me, I'm at the end, take that press and seal and press it back down to where the press and seal touches the surface of my paste, and that's just going to reduce the air in the canister and be able to keep my my glitter paste usable and malleable for a whole lot longer. So I'm going to bring in a good amount of this glitter paste using my palette knife and spread that all across this stencil. The stencil has a lot of open areas, so we're going to get a beautiful transfer of this design onto the inked up panel. Spreading that all over my panel because I'm not quite sure what size I know I'm gonna cut the panel down, but I'm not quite sure what size I'm going to cut it down to. So I would just want to make sure I get my glitter hero paste all the way to the edges. Not going to waste any of that paste. I'm going to scrape my excess back into my canister. Press all of it down to the where it's all kind of together there. And close my press and seal back on top of the medium there. And see how I'm pressing it down? I'm getting all that extra air out, and that's going to help my paste last a lot longer. So now it's time to reveal the snowflakes that have transferred onto this inked up panel. I just absolutely love the way this came together. Now, because the paste, it does have, some moisture in it. The paper will curl a little bit. Look at that dimension on those snowflakes. Oh, just gorgeous. Okay, back on track. The paper will curl just a little bit, but once it dries, it will flatten back out. So you just got to give it a little bit of time to dry, and then you can move on. So we're going to take this glitter and this shine and sparkle up a notch by adding some hot foiling. So I'm bringing in the Happy Holidays foil and cut set, also from Hero Arts. This is a lovely set. I love the fact that it comes with the die so that you can cut your foil design out. And we're going to be foiling today with some teal foil. So I'm going to take my plate, place it on my cardstock, and I'm foiling on my Nina Classic Crest Solar White cardstock in an 80-pound weight. This cardstock is a good universal cardstock that will pretty much work for most applications that you want to use for crafting, including hot foiling. So I'm going to measure out my hot foil to make sure that my foil fits the size of my plate. It's okay to have a little bit of excess foil around, but you don't want like a huge amount because then you'll get some transfer of that foil to the other piece of the cardstock, and I don't want that because I want to be able to use that cardstock for other smaller die cuts or things that I want to do. So now I'm going to make my sandwich, and a sandwich for your hot foiling consists of your cardstock, your foil, and your hot foil plate. You want the pretty side of your hot foil plate to be touching the pretty side of your foil. I've made the mistake before. I have several hot foil plates that have the foil transferred onto the plate. It doesn't hurt the hot foil plate. It just, you just have to start over when you're to do your hot foiling. So the hot foil plate will still be usable. It'll just be a lot prettier because it's got the foil on it now. I'm going to hold my sandwich together with a piece of that same mint tape that we used earlier to hold our stencil in place. Mint tape is also a good universal type of adhesive to have on hand for things like that, like hot foiling and using your stencil. So I just pointed to the green button there. You want that to be on. That lets you know that your hot foil platform is heated up and ready to go. So you're going to place your hot foil sandwich onto your hot foil platform. You're going to add your spacer pad and your thin shim, and you're going to hit the timer button. Once that timer button turns solid green, like it is right there, that's when you know it's time to remove the whole entire platform, your whole setup there. Take it over to your die cutting machine and run it through your die cutting machine to apply the pressure, and then you'll come back and you'll be able to reveal your hot foiling. So I'm going to take my my sandwich off of the heated platform. I'm going to allow my hot foil plate to rest on that tan mat there so it can cool off. And I pull back the hot foil, you can reveal and see the hot foiling that I was able to achieve on this Neenah Classic Crest Solar White cardstock. Isn't that beautiful? That particular color of teal is going to look great with our ink blended background as well. This piece right here, I'm not going to discard that, and on a later date I'll turn that into a hot foil design that I could use so later on with the solid hot foil plate. So hot foiling will give me a 2-for-1. I'm going to use that same piece of mint tape to hold the die place that I've now placed around my hot foil design. I'm going to run that through my die cutting machine and bring that back, and then I'll have my hot foiled die cut design sentiment ready to go. Now, I don't know what happened, guys, but somewhere along the way, the minions got a hold of my my files, and they corrupted my footage, and so I lost the footage of me putting the card together. But I'm going to come back in now with the completed and assembled card. I did go ahead and pop up that sentiment a little bit of tape, and I added some gold pearls from Studio Katia to add a little bit more sparkle and card. And with that, everyone, this card is complete. I want to thank you for joining me for another video on my YouTube channel. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook at The Delta Crafter, as well as on my website at thedeltacrafter.com. If you like what you've seen today, be sure to hit that thumbs up. I want to wish everyone a happy holiday season, and until next time, enjoy!